Captain, incoming message.
It was the dawn of the third age of mankind.
Groovy.
Hi-ho. This is me, Kermit the Frog.
Hello there.
Moopsy.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Not a great plan.
Program complete. Enter when ready.
Let's see what's out there. Engage.
Hey there, we're those sci-fi guys, and this is Those Sci-Fi Guys Show. Just two working dudes, different lives, different jobs, with a whole lot of love for science fiction and the fun that comes with. We are your hosts. I am P.S. McKay. Oh man, I was thinking of some like Spaceballs reference, and well, the one that came to mind was the one referencing the flamethrower, where the kiddies love that one, but that won't work here. Good lord.
I'm DT Cavman, and way to bury the lead.
Yeah. Well, we already tried to do it, so thoroughly tried. Anyway, how you doing, DT?
I'm doing okay. Been
Good.
We're in the middle of a heat wave right now, so
Yeah, you guys are having a heat wave.
a tropical heat wave.
You know, the only reason I know that song is from Grumpy Old Men.
Boom, exactly. That sounds from like the 50s.
Yeah. That's the fun part. But yeah, you guys are going to be almost topping 100 tomorrow, aren't you?
We are going to top 100 tomorrow.
You guys ready for that? I mean, do you think you can handle that? I mean, for me, that's a Tuesday. It's literally a Tuesday for you too. But for me, that's every Tuesday during the summer. But you guys have contingency plans? Like, what are you doing?
Well, I am leaning back on several honed skills, you know.
Oh, that's right. You went to, you were in the desert.
And Mrs. Cavman and I have bought cases of Gatorade, which I have brought to my office to hand to our employees when they go out into the heat tomorrow. So
I used to when I moved to Fresno, I used to do car estimations and stuff, and half the time I would be out at a tow yard or something, you know, totaling out a vehicle. And when I moved to the Central Valley,
totally,
it was 115 degrees, and I'm out there sweltering, writing this paperwork up. It was awful. It was awful. Like, I mean, at 115 degrees, you basically just got to bring like 3 sets of clothes when it comes to the professional setting. It was awful. I actually went home halfway through the day and got changed. It was that bad. But 100 degrees with New England humidity, ugh.
It does become oppressive.
Yeah.
Not quite as bad as Louisiana in August, but you know.
No, true. But well, stay cool, my friends. Stay cool. It's the good part is it's only going to be a short burst, so yeah. So you just think of it as a wild experience, like, you know, minus 20 degrees in Chicago that one time.
I've done that too.
I can honestly say I have not, and I'm okay with that.
When I was in Kansas, the wind would come whipping down out of the Dakotas and down through Nebraska and into Kansas, because none of those two states have anything resembling windbreaks. And man, that you'd get down to where it was like single digits, but the wind chill would put you down. I think the coldest day I can remember was -22 wind chill.
Oh God. When Fahrenheit and Celsius starts to be the same number, that's a bad day.
Yeah. So this was probably like a week after me and a couple, and a couple of my senior leaders went for a run, and it was probably topped out at just above 20, maybe about 20, with a slight breeze, which at that level is just brutal.
Mm-hmm.
And we got back, and we kind of, I'm red. My and I've got Mediterranean blood, so I don't get as red. This young kid was, kind of had a much fairer complexion, and he was
poor guy.
crimson.
Poor guy.
And then again, our senior non-commissioned officer was very dark-skinned, African American, and he was red. Okay, that's how cold it was.
Yeah,
everyone was red. Nobody got away from being red.
Yeah.
And then I looked around, and I'm like, looking at us, and we're all frozen, and we're like, we probably shouldn't run in this weather again.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, it's probably not.
You're flirting with frostbite at that point.
Well, we were all quite kissed by it.
Yeah. Frost kiss. Is that a term? Is that a real thing? It sounds like it should be.
Patent pending.
Yeah.
Copyright.
Well, there's sun kissed. Is there frost kissed? Doesn't kind of roll
really
off
want
the
to find out.
Easily. No. Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So
well, Jack Frost was definitely nipping at our noses then. So I've dealt with some extremes in weather. And
all right. See, the thing about
it's funny because we have a planet that enables us to have multiple climates. And yet some of our favorite sci-fi series is like, oh, you mean a multi-climate planet? Screw that.
No, that takes too much thought processing.
Star Trek, hey, this is a cold planet. Hey, this is a hot planet. Star Wars, hey, this is an ice planet. This is a desert planet. Spaceballs, there's a desert planet. Why?
Yeah.
Comb the desert.
Yes. You think we were being too literal, sir?
No, you fool. We're following orders. You find anything yet?
We ain't found. Yeah, it's good stuff. You know who played around with realistic planet climates and actually demonstrated that a singular planet can have multiple different climates on it? Stargate SG-1.
Stargate.
Yeah. It was an episode where Captain Carter at the time, Sam Carter and O'Neill, their gate got busted when they were transferring back to Earth. They were transporting back to Earth. Their gate got interrupted at the SGC, so they got thrown out of another gate, and it's like cold. It's freezing. O'Neill is hurt. He's got like a broken leg, and so she is able to. They're in this cave, and she's able to actually get out of the cave eventually, thinking that, okay, we can call for help. Maybe there's civilization nearby because there's a gate near here. There's a gate here. There's usually civilizations nearby. Crawls out. Nothing but nothing but ice tundra, mountains, cold, it's all snow and everything. And she goes, "I'm sorry, sir, we're stuck on an ice world." Well, actually, it ends up being that they were sent to Antarctica. Earth had 2 gates. And the first gate that was at the SGC was interfered with a I don't know, some kind of storm or something. And
was it an ion storm?
No, not quite. Although they're all ion storms of, solar cosmology, they're all ion storms. So it could have been. Their analogy was actually quite clever. It's like, what happens when you have one phone that's busy or off the hook? The other phone will ring in the house on the same line. And that's what happened. They got bumped from the first Stargate and pushed out the Antarctic one instead.
Oh my!
They demonstrated how Earth has multiple climates, and they were actually they thought they were just stuck on this ice planet. It was clever. That was actually really good storytelling. I found that clever. That's me though.
But they still ended up on Earth.
I know. Yeah. What about it?
I think it defeats your argument.
Well, they demonstrated. Okay. No, I don't. I think what it is a fun observation of the single climate trope.
Yeah, and that's fine. But, that's not how sci-fi works, and you know it.
I don't. Hold on. What am I doing wrong here? Well, I'm just pointing out that Stargate addressed Stargate just addressed the trope, and it was it was actually a plot device, and I thought it was neat. That's not how that's not how science fiction works.
No, it has to have the single thing, because that's what makes Earth special.
Well, I just thought it was clever. You don't see that in writing very much anymore. Anyway, before we get bogged down with the desert and bullshit and biomes.
Well, I was trying to make a segue, but you cut me off.
I thought I politely interjected. Because I thought you were done.
I can't. I was trying to segue, and then you hijacked it with your Stargate.
I'm sorry. I just like Stargate.
Look, you make me want to barf.
Well,
not in here, mister. This is a Mercedes.
Oh, my Mog.
Half man, half dog. I'm my own best friend.
When I said, "Oh, my Mog," it really makes me sound like I'm from Boston. It
actually sounded more Long Island.
Long Island. I was gonna say Long Island, Queens, that kind of thing. Like
Mog. Yeah. There's a little more in there, not a
Yeah, no
it's more Mog.
Oh, what could I say? Anyway, so why don't you take us in, DT, to tonight's topic? Our second go around.
Tonight's topic is, of course, Spaceballs, brought to you by the recent release of a teaser that Spaceballs 2 will be coming to theaters in 2027. Oh, and by the way, Mel was part of the trailer, and he was as sharp as ever.
I can switch it over to the announcement if you want. I don't think we could play much of it. I can't play the sound, but we could play the video and you can comment on it.
Just go all the way to Mel's part.
Well, we got to see some of the creativity in the scroll.
It's more snark than anything.
So 38 years ago, there was only one Star Wars trilogy, but then there have been a prequel trilogy, a sequel trilogy, a sequel to the prequel to the sequel. You get it.
Yeah.
Let's until now.
after 40 years, we asked, what do the fans want? But instead, we're making this movie. Be with you.
Spaceballs a sweatshirt. He's wearing Spaceballs a sweatshirt. I mean,
he's still
that's some
got
good merchandising and some great timing on his part. Where the real money is made.
Oh my God. Oh, he's a genius.
So
98.
Yes. So I am cautious about this. I mean, did you see History of the World Part 2?
I made it halfway through. Mrs. Kaufman and I were watching it because we're big Mel Brooks fans, and we made it halfway through the series, and we got bogged down by something else, and we've not gone back.
that to me, that's a tell then.
No, we were watching it, and then we felt it was not appropriate for
the little ears. Yeah.
Younger ears, I would say.
Okay. I mean, I don't mean to be pejorative or anything. I'm just, yeah. But apparently I am.
Well, it's more of there were just conversations we weren't quite ready to have at the time.
No, I know that one in the worst way. Absolutely. Okay. All right. Well, I'll give that a pass. I mean, did you enjoy it up to that point where you stopped it?
Some of it I truly did. Not everything hits, at times, but I did find that I mean they did. And again, it's been like a year and a half since I watched it, but I found it to be pretty cutting.
Okay. Well, I mean that being said, when you
there might have been an overserving of Kroll at times.
What's that? I gotta be honest with you. I haven't actually seen part 1.
Oh,
so
you've never? No, Nick Kroll.
Oh, okay. Nick Kroll. Sorry. I can see that. He chews the scenery really well. And sometimes it's a little too much. I mean, he's great. He's a great actor. He's a very good comedic actor.
He is, but occasionally it's a little overdone,
A little bit.
Like many who, Jim
Carrey.
He got,
Jim Carrey, Will Ferrell.
Yeah, Jim Carrey but he was on another level. He was, I think, maybe the closest you got to a Robin Williams type.
Sure. See, I wouldn't even put Robin Williams in that because Robin had amazing range that the studios were willing to bet on him for. But I don't think I'm being fair enough to Jim Carrey at this point because Jim Carrey's got range and
he does.
See, I'm not here to talk smack about anyone in Hollywood right now. I genuinely, I'm just genuinely trying to have an observation here, and it's not coming off well.
Well, anyway, Spaceballs.
Yeah,
it's just kind of so iconic, right? And the fact that he entered into a deal with Lucas to be able to pull this off, and it takes plenty of shots at the time. Most of the major movie franchises, Star Trek, Star Wars, Alien, 2001. It's not really a franchise, but enough, legendary science fiction movies and such. It just hit on all cylinders, I think. You know, the whole deal of Mel Brooks wants to spoof Star Wars, and he goes and he talks to George Lucas, and George is like, okay, but no selling, toys, because it'll cut into my profits. And since he got most of his money through the merchandising, Mel Brooks said, okay. And then, I think just to do a little tweak, he has an entire skit or, scene that's all about merchandising. And then there's all these Spaceball, the whatever merchandise in the background. Spaceballs, the toilet paper, Spaceballs, the shower curtain, and it's everywhere, which was very funny for multiple reasons. But you also have the fact that something that I always found funny is he dressed his hero, Lone Star, not like Han Solo, but like Indiana Jones.
Yes. Yeah,
brilliant.
That was the funny part. It wasn't Han Solo. There was no vest. It was the leather jacket.
Yep. And
It's
Indiana
good
Jones
stuff.
is a little scruffier when he's out on the range, even though, Leia calls Han scruffy. So
Here, we have to see this. I'm sorry. You'll enjoy it.
Come, walk this way. Take a look. We put the picture's name on everything. Merchandising, where the real money from the movie is made. Spaceballs the t-shirt. Spaceballs the coloring book. Spaceballs the lunchbox. Spaceballs the breakfast cereal. Spaceballs the flamethrower.
I want that.
Kids love this one.
kids love this one.
Spaceballs the doll. Me.
May the Schwartz be with you.
So, and it had to be like super high pitched too, didn't it?
Yes. I mean, Mel's comedic timing was always like that, right? Clearly. And God, this one just really worked. And this is one of the Star Trek references when he's beamed and there's Snotty in a tam and a kilt and a really bad Scottish accent beaming President Scrooge from wherever he was, his office, to command, and screwed it up so that his head is on backwards.
So, there's funny part. We don't really need to go too much into the weeds of the plot and whatnot. But what I do want to add about Spaceballs is it was not a spoof of any specific part of the Star Wars trilogy plots. It took elements of Star Wars. It took elements of every sci-fi thing, like you rightly pointed out. But the plot itself was completely independent of its own creativity. They so
wait,
the whole
it was independent of its creativity?
Well, it was independently creative.
Yes.
Sorry, you're right. I'm tired. I'm very tired. It was independently creative. There was no like Death Star that they wanted to blow up. There was no Empire Strikes Back. They reference it. I'm your father's roommate's brother's best friend. Whatever. What the hell does that make us?
Father's cousin's brother's former roommate or something like that.
The hell does that make us? Absolutely nothing. It's like, well, why bring it up? That was good. But I like that it was an independent plot. It was Princess Vespa not wanting to marry this prince. She escapes. There's a bounty to capture her. Lone Star finds her, rescues her from the Spaceballs.
And let's not forget, though, that the Spaceballs are trying to capture her so that they can get air for planet Spaceball.
Yeah, the clean air.
Right.
That's something that apparently Marvel wanted to use later. So
yeah. And mind
Still
you,
haven't seen
the
that
whole
movie,
thing
but-
where President Scroob, which is an anagram for Brooks, which is excellent, by the way.
Yeah,
But-
seriously, that's a really cool, thought or fact.
So President Scroob is like busy, like getting off of a phone call with reporters. Oh no, there's plenty of air. I don't know where you're getting your sources. Yeah. And then as soon as he hangs up, he goes into his desk drawer and he pulls out a can, and it's Perry Air.
Perry Air.
Awesome.
They don't even say Perry Air. They just show it. It's a sight gag. I don't think you see that kind of, attention to detail nowadays. Because they have to, for some reason, they think they have to point it out to the audience rather than just let the sight gag play itself out.
There was subtlety in how they bludgeoned you with their humor.
It was true bludgeoning in that subtlety, yes. But
just such. There's just so many things about this movie that probably shouldn't work, but does. Like Dom DeLuise, Pizza the Hut.
Yeah. By the way,
we got real melted cheese.
Oh my God, it's so disgusting. It was probably, I still can't see that scene to this day. It makes me nauseous seeing it. Like, oh.
But remember, it's the 80s. So Pizza the Hut was a big deal.
Yeah, Pizza the Hut. It was cute. It was like they had a Jabba the Hutt. They called him Pizza the Hut because Pizza Hut, hey, well done. They put much more money into that
suit,
Pizza the Hut costume, than they really had any business doing. But it despite it being disgusting, it was effective. Supremely
Dom
effective.
DeLuise actually got burned by like the hot cheese at one point.
Oh, did he really?
Yes.
Yeah.
But you can love his robot mobster henchman there.
Mm-hmm.
No. It's not what I want. It's what he wants. And then he let him drop the stupid line, or else pizza's gonna send out for you. So dumb. And then they're laughing hysterically.
Yeah, keep going. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
They're laughing hysterically, and then next thing you know, Vinny's like scooping up like pepperoni and eating. He's like, "You're delicious." It is hilariously gross.
Yeah. Wasn't Dom DeLuise also like the Godfather and Robin Hood Men in Tights?
Yeah, he's played these. He's played Godfather types.
And he has the lizard that soils him. Just is Robin Hood Men in Tights, well, which that
Brooks film
was a nice classic one too. Young Dave Chappelle.
Yeah, baby Dave Chappelle.
Seriously,
before his smoker voice kicked in.
Yeah. Boy, he leans into that smoker voice too, doesn't he, when he does his stand-up?
Oh yeah,
still hilarious. Great observer of our times. Shall we talk about Darth Helmet?
Dark Helmet.
Yeah, Dark Helmet. I'm sorry. Yes, Dark Helmet. They've got these vinyl. They have these. So they put all that effort into the Pizza the Hut costume, and yet they have all these vinyl costumes and basically plastic bags that they're wearing here.
It looks like Comic-Con.
A little bit.
By the way, the fact that Rick Moranis can do anything right while wearing a tie that looks like dick and balls around his neck for 2 hours is impressive.
I didn't even realize that, dude. Was that really the intent? Right?
Of course, it's Spaceballs. He zaps people in the junk. Prepare to say goodbye to your 2 best friends. I don't mean the ones in the Winnebago.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, penis jokes. Huh.
Yeah. And of course, Rick Moranis was fantastic in the role. There was nobody else who probably could pull it off.
All right, let me do. I want to find a scene that I just have to watch. It involves Rick Moranis. It's the best. Spaceballs. I don't even know. It's the scene where they're actually watching the movie.
Mr. Coffee.
Is it Spaceballs, Mr. Coffee?
Try it. See if it works. We call it Mr. Coffee.
This might work. This one, well, that's long. Here we go.
Goodness.
Let's do this one.
So much meta humor, though.
Yeah. No, there was. Here we go. And here.
What's the matter with this thing? What's all that churning and bubbling? You call that a radar screen?
No, sir. We call it Mr. Coffee. Care for some?
Yes! I always have coffee when I watch radar. You know that.
Of course I do, sir.
Everybody knows that. Of course we do, sir! After I have my coffee, I'm ready to watch radar. Where is it?
Right.
Mr. Radar. I can go back to that. Let me do another search because I want to see the. Let's see. This is the longer one.
Watching the movie.
Yeah. Let's see. No, I don't want Ironheart here.
Let me tell you. Mel has always been, kind of filmmaker who's not afraid to be daring, to go a little out there. I mean, he made a silent movie in the 70s, okay?
Uh-huh.
Can you imagine the amount of balls it takes to do a silent movie in the 70s?
Yeah. Yeah, it was good. I mean, that's Mel for you. I mean,
to quote Mrs. Cavman, he's a national treasure, and I have brought it up because we had this conversation. She's like, I'm like, oh yeah, Max says everybody's a national treasure. She's like, no, it's Mel's a national treasure, man. I'm like, yeah, you got a point.
I mean, he is. Don't get me wrong. So it's James Brolin, though. But we're not here to win. No one's winning any arguments tonight. No one's winning any arguments. He was fantastic in Life in Pieces. Okay, he was just adorable. Yeah,
sure.
Yeah. Anyway, here we go.
I have an idea. Corporal, get me the video cassette of Spaceballs the movie.
Mr. Rental. It just keeps going.
All the Mel Brooks
silent movie.
Colonel Sanders. Yeah.
How can there be a cassette of Spaceballs the movie? We're still in the middle of making it.
That's true, sir. But there's been a new breakthrough in home video marketing. Yes. Instant cassettes. They're out in stores before the movie is finished.
Here it is, sir. Spaceballs.
Good work, Corporal. Punch it up. That's much too early. Prepare to fast forward.
Preparing to fast forward.
Fast forward.
Fast forwarding, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Fast forward. In fact, never show this part again.
No, go past this. Past this part. In fact, never play this again.
That's all I wanted to share. That's all. I mean, it's still delightful. So, yeah. I will say, I mean,
what is so great about this? Is there anybody who was less intimidating in the movies in the 80s than Rick Moranis supposed to be playing like this super intimidating bad guy?
It was actually a pretty well thought out joke. It really was.
Well, I agree. That was my point. It was like,
yeah, no, you're absolutely correct. Yeah, I'm in full agreement on that one. Dark helmet. What was that helmet joke you said?
What? Which helmet joke?
The one. Oh, never mind.
Oh,
there's so many.
You mean the sex joke?
Yeah, yeah. What was that one? Because
I bet she gives great helmets.
Oh my god. And that was him looking at Vespa, right? Princess Vespa?
No, it was the nurse, like when they were threatening to give her back her old nose.
Oh. Okay, I'm not gonna go that far.
But the funny thing about this is, and what makes Mel a genius is just like all of this is like just loaded with Jewish humor, right? You know, the fourth wall breaking. Oh, funny, she doesn't look Jewish because she's from planet Druidia. I mean,
but, yeah. And that's the one joke. That's the one joke Mel regrets.
Well, it was very ham-fisted and very 80s.
It was. There are some jokes. I was watching Red Letter Media's review of Back to the Future that they published today, and they were showing some outtake scenes, and there were some intense outtake scenes that, wow. It was definitely the 80s when they made some of those jokes, and they went straight to the cutting room floor.
Oh, well,
talking about, me trying to assault my mom, that could really mess. What if I go back and I'm like really messed up? Like, fair points. He takes it a little bit farther. And I'm not gonna go anywhere than just use your imaginations, people. It was good that it got cut on the floor. So
Back to the Future is a great movie, but when you think about all the ridiculous and implausible things, like he's what, a high school kid, and his best friend is a disgraced nuclear physicist.
It was the 80s, though. That was a very common trope.
Of course.
Yeah. So,
well, you wonder where that comes from. Like, who'd ask? And I'd be lying if I said I didn't hear that until I heard like John Mulaney talk about it in like one of his shows. I'm like, that is a good point. How the hell does this kid hang out with this disgraced physicist? A guy who's just crazy enough to go ahead and buy plutonium or whatever, or uranium from
yeah,
Libyan terrorists. And tell me how that was super 80s. Libyan terrorists.
Yeah, all that. I mean, I don't know. It was a good review. They had some wonderful, interesting, insightful things to say about it. So if you're interested, Red Letter Media, really good, entertaining watch. So
Well,
and they're able to do all they need to say within 45 minutes. DT, weird. That's not what we do.
So clearly, they need to take some lessons from us. Got it.
Apparently. So, oh, there we go. That was the one. That was what I was looking for.
Told you.
He does. I mean, he doesn't even want to be there. The character doesn't even want to be there. Like, and the tie.
And they give him those enormous glasses too, underneath this huge helmet. That's just
right,
just perfect. Right. I mean, in everything. If the more you watch the movie later on in the movie, particularly after the merchandising scene, everything is merchandising.
Mm-hmm.
It's dark helmet on everything. There's a Wizard of Oz trope.
Yeah.
Yep. You get Yeah, they go after it all. The whole alien scene in the diner.
Yeah. Which that freaked me out when I was a kid seeing that because I didn't see Alien.
Not again. They get John Hurt to come in and do this. Fantastic.
Yeah.
At this point,
it's Mel. How do you say no to Mel?
Not by then. Not after he crushed with Blazing Saddles and Young Frankenstein. The producers. Once you get there, it's like, okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'm worried we're running out of steam here already.
Well, here's the funny thing, right? So, like,
the mustache.
Some of his and the toupee.
Yeah. I forgot about the toupee. You're right. Sorry, I interrupted you. So here's the thing you were saying.
So, you have all these comedic legends, right? In this movie. Dom DeLuise, John Candy, Mel Brooks, Rick Moranis, and then plenty of bit players, guys who have been in multiple Mel Brooks movies, like Colonel Sanders and the Archbishop were kind of like Mel Brooks stock guys. They'd been in movies like To Be or Not to Be, which of course was the only movie I think that he ever starred opposite his wife. Was not a spoof. Was a comedy, but not a spoof. I highly recommend it. It's actually pretty damn good. But I mean, just the chops that come into this, right? I mean, the jokes are nonstop. Joan Rivers, right?
Oh yeah, Joan Rivers.
Maybe the first female superstar comedian, right?
Yeah.
She was enormous, and her raspy. It's that New York Jewish humor, really, right? That gets it all. That Borscht Belt, Yiddish. That it's Mel. It's the same shtick that he's been pulling for his entire career, but it kind of fits because it's so out of place with what you're doing. Like when he played the Native American chief in Blazing Saddles, and he's speaking Yiddish.
Yeah. But wasn't that? No. I was thinking of F Troop. F Troop had Jewish actors playing Native Americans too, didn't they?
Jeez. Don Rickles guest starred as a Native American. I mean, it was, you're talking about, nobody was Native American. They were all, the chief was Italian, I think. You had it was, that's just kind of how it was, man.
Yeah, no,
not
judgment,
of course.
No judgment.
Definitely judgment.
I'm not judging. You know, it was what it was.
I mean, yeah, it's no judgment for the guys who's trying to scrape by and get some acting work, but you know, not the
Different
most
time.
Yeah, I tell you though.
Different time.
But Mel fills these movies with, you know, Jewish actors who just crush, right? You know. You see.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, Prince Valium. Prince Valium. First off, I'm sure it was because of a play on Prince Valiant, the comic strip, you know, and comic book character, but also Prince Valium, and he's a narcoleptic. He keeps.
Yeah.
Dick Van Patten as the king.
Uh-huh. Was he in Robin Hood Men in Tights too?
He was the abbot.
That's right.
To marry.
Yeah,
and they had some guy pop out like Lou Costello.
Yeah. Hey, abbot. I hate that guy. Yeah, and then Patrick Stewart had a nice little cameo at the end in that movie.
Apparently, they really wanted to get Sean Connery in there, but he wanted to like show up in a dress, and Mel's like, "That's not what I'm looking for in this," which is kind of funny. But he wanted, so they brought in Patrick Stewart, who of course was fantastic.
Yeah,
and I'm sure if somebody was like, "Hey, Patrick." Yes. Do you want to, be in a Mel Brooks movie? I mean, you're only going to be in it for like 2 minutes. He's like, where do I sign?
Yeah, he was able to do that scene during his lunch break on Star Trek: The Next Generation. So, yeah. So, probably a good get. And he leaned into that Scottish brogue too.
Well, again, it was the Sean Connery aspect. He was supposed to, be like the Scottish Richard the Lionhearted, who, by the way, was French.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh. Details, like Prince Valium over here.
Prince Valium,
and the Schwartz off.
The rings, by the way.
Yeah, they were rings. And they activated them by placing them in front of their crotches.
Yeah. Plenty of dick jokes. It's an 80s movie. There has to be dick jokes.
There has to be.
I see your Schwartz is as big as mine.
Yeah. And then they get all wrapped around each other.
5-minute break?
Yeah,
smoke if you got them.
Oh,
which is another 80s thing. Smoke them if you got them.
Yeah, that was
basically anything before the 90s. And some of these, what I think, kudos to anybody who can keep their straight face through even one take of this, any of these scenes.
It's true.
How about the two guys who were cross-eyed, the assholes? Hey! I said a crosser knows not up it. Sorry, sir. This is my first day.
Let's see.
What the hell? He's an asshole, sir. I can see that.
I got you. I got it.
A gunner.
Here, give me a second. I got it. I got it for you right here. It's not HD, but
careful, you idiot! I said a crosser nose, not up it.
Sorry, sir. Doing my best.
Who made that man a gunner?
I did, sir. He's my cousin.
Who is he?
He's an asshole, sir.
I know that. What's his name?
That is his name, sir. Asshole.
Major
Asshole.
And his cousin?
He's an asshole too, sir. Gunner's mate, first class, Philip Asshole.
How many assholes we got on this ship anyhow?
Yo!
I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
Keep firing, assholes!
Oh shoot!
This is such a stupid joke.
It is. It is a
It
stupid
is
joke.
such
But hey,
a stupid joke, but it hits. It
yeah,
should.
it hit. It really shouldn't. And then her matching luggage. I forgot about the matching luggage bullshit.
Her Royal Highness's matched luggage.
Yeah. The freaking the Foot Locker of all things too. Like
The trunk. Yes. Yeah.
Foot Locker. I don't.
How uncomfortable did that have to be in that costume, Joan? I don't think
it was
Joan
her.
was in it.
No, I don't think she was in that. I think she did her voiceover work off screen.
Yeah,
like
between vodka and smoke breaks.
Probably. I mean, what I'm saying is, I bet she was there, but she was giving her lines off camera, like to kind of give everyone a sense of
she was the voice
to expect. Yeah,
and of course one of the most premier mimes in the world was the physical body of Dot Matrix.
Oh, in the scene with Pizza the Hut?
No.
Oh, no.
Dot. That's Joan Rivers' character, Dot.
Oh, jeez.
But they had a mime playing.
Oh, they did have a mime. Okay.
Yep. Not bad though.
Okay. No, they did well. They did well.
Oh, and you know who else they had in this? Because why not, right? They had Michael Winslow.
I was waiting for you to do that. Okay, so let's bring up Michael Winslow on that, because that none of us can give any credit, the way he deserves it.
Well, he was kind of in the middle of that run with the, his little heyday in the 80s.
He actually changes the pitch when he turns away, too. Shit.
Sir,
what is it?
Can I talk to you, please, sir?
The distortion's his voice.
Well, you don't need that, Private. We're right here. Now, what is it?
Now, what is
it? I'm having trouble with the radar, sir.
What's wrong with you?
He cracked.
The sweeps, and I've lost the creeps.
The what?
The what?
And the what?
You know, the bleeps. The sweeps. And the creeps.
That's not all he's lost.
Sir, the radar, sir. It appears to be jammed.
Literally.
Jammed.
Literalisms.
Here's another dumb joke.
There's only one man who would dare give me the raspberry. Lone Star.
Camera joke.
Just a lot of great fourth wall breaks in this.
No, it was, yeah.
Again, that shouldn't be funny. That shouldn't be that funny.
It shouldn't be. It's really stupid.
Oh my God. I mean, and that's I think at times what makes Mel's comedy so good is that some of these things you look at it at face value, you're like, this shouldn't be funny. And you're rolling in the aisles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
all right.
Spaceballs.
We're looking at some different promotional materials. Okay, so now we're back at the
assholes.
Yeah. And then I don't know. Oh, this is the cafe scene.
The truck stop diner.
Yeah, the truck stop, which by the way is open to open space. I kind of I mean, I give it a pass, right? But it kind of concerned me. How would they get from the Winnebago to the diner in the parking lot?
Just hold their breath.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, but remember when they rescue Princess Vespa and they just lower a ladder?
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I mean, again, none of this should work. It's like almost at times, some of it is like watching a fan film.
It really is. Sorry, my doggo's in the way. He wants attention. Come on. Come on, buddy.
Well,
You're my chair.
I got to tell you, man, I saw this when I was a kid. The radio, the radio version, the clean edit, the TV version, right?
Yeah.
Funny. This was one of the first movies I bought when DVDs came out. When it came out on DVD.
Oh yeah.
And me and some buddies, after going out drinking my senior year of college, throwing this on while you're a little buzzed and you're like falling over laughing because it's dumb but smart humor, right? Like there's plenty of clever bits. I mean they take a whack at the Planet of the Apes. They take a whack at Looney Tunes.
Spaceballs. Oh shit! There goes the neighborhood. What does that even mean? Can I posit you an equivalent movie to this for watching during your dumb college years, with the same kind of dumb intelligence? Shall we say? Close.
I watched. Oh well, yeah.
That was the movie. That was my go-to in college. When
I guess that's just like your opinion, man.
Yeah, I've got all the opinions on that one. So, but
oh, dude, this movie, and then there he is, the man, the myth, the legend, before his time as Tuvok is Tim Russ as the We Ain't Found Shit guy.
Let's see. I am going to bring up his. Here we are.
Are you bringing up his rant?
Yeah, I have to. It's one of those things you just have to do. Here he is.
My, yes.
I've been acting for 35 years. 135 credits on IMDb. I was in a long-running series. You might remember it. Star Trek. But all I'm known for is combing the desert and saying, we ain't found shit.
I don't think that Zen garden's working for you there, Tim.
No, it's not. It's not.
But
so,
want to hear something interesting?
Yeah, what's that?
Apparently, it's confirmed that Tim Russ will make an appearance in Spaceballs 2.
I did hear that, yes. I did hear that.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that'll be good. That'll be good.
Doesn't hurt him that he's one of the guys who's still alive.
Yeah, a little bit. It helps.
They're getting Bill Pullman back, Daphne Zuniga, Mel, of course, and Rick Moranis.
Yeah. Did Daphne retire? We talked about this.
She actually voiced Princess Vespa in the Spaceballs animated series. Joan Rivers did too, and Dom DeLuise appeared once. It was his last role before he died.
Wow.
Yep.
By the way, if we could all age like Daphne Zuniga, she's done a good job of aging, fighting Father Time.
Please, if we could all age like Mel.
Well, there's that too.
I only wish that my brain will be that sharp by the time I'm 80, let alone almost 100.
Yeah, it looks like she's done some bit parts here and there, guest appearances here and there, regularly working. So
sure,
just in stuff I don't watch, which is fine. I am not the audience that defines whether something should be watched or not. Far from it.
You brought up before that questioning why Bill Pullman didn't quite have the same leading man role that he possibly could have.
Well, there was everything he had everything, structured for him to be that leading man in other movies. And it just didn't seem to play out that way.
Mostly
like the dashing
rom-coms.
leading man.
He got some leading roles in rom-coms.
He was in Mr. Wrong with Ellen DeGeneres.
He was While You Were Sleeping with Sandra Bullock.
Yeah. Oh, and he was also in Sleepless in Seattle.
Yeah, but he wasn't even like close to like top billing.
No. Oh shoot, what was his name in that movie? Not
Bill
Tom.
Pullman. They just opted to go with his name.
Yeah, the character was that much of an afterthought to Meg Ryan anyway. So
apparently Bill Pullman's son Lewis is going to be in this movie too. There's rumors that he'll be there, possibly be playing the son of Lone Star and Vespa.
Okay, I can get behind that.
The thing that makes me question a little bit is Josh Gad is supposed to be heavily involved in the producing and writing.
I don't have any issues with Josh Gad and his writing, nor his comedy. Is there something about him that gives you pause? Why?
I don't know. Everything I see him in, he just strikes me as kind of irritating.
You mean he's the essence of Olaf then?
Well, he's kind of like, it seems like he was trying to be Jack Black but couldn't.
Interesting observation. I haven't seen enough of his stuff to necessarily agree with that, but you could be right. It could be a plausible take.
I just have not found him to be that funny. So that's one of the things that gives me a little bit of pause.
Yeah.
Look, see, there's more Spaceballs The Sheets.
Spaceballs The Sheets. Yes, sorry. Something happened in my house right now, and the dog went nuts. So, Spaceballs The Sheets. That book he's reading is Joe Lustig. The title is "Don't Blame Me," which is something you always want your planetary leader to be reading. So,
but Scroob was definitely into the merchandising too, no matter what anybody says.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, are we being too literal? No, sir. No, fool, we're following orders. No, you fool, we're following orders.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
So,
he's like, don't have that mask down. I don't want you making faces at me and I can't see it. That was dumb.
God.
But it was effective. Like,
it was effective.
Yeah.
And that's why I think as a kid the movie, was still funny to me, even though a lot of the jokes flew right over my head.
Oh, sure.
And I tell you, they said, the deal he made with Lucas was, no merchandising, right? So they make this entire scene about merchandising, and then it's a running gag the rest of the movie. which was fantastic. It just continued along with a running joke, and I appreciate that. He was able to not only keep his promise to Lucas, but also kind of poke fun at it as well.
Yeah. Agreed. Here we go.
This is the story of...
Damn it. Sorry. Don't want to share that part. Give me a second.
So did I tell you that I've run into some interesting things, Spaceballs related, at some of the cons I've been to?
Yes, but no. You've told me some things. I don't know if you've told me everything.
So the very first con my kid and I went to was Boston Fan Expo in the summer of 2023. It was awesome. Okay, but this is the first time I'd ever been, and we're like walking through like the vendors and stuff, and it's just like mobs of people everywhere, and you're looking at costumes and you're checking shit out, and you're like, oh, cool. And there's somebody who's like selling like decorative towels, and it's like, oh, what? And then you're looking around, and my kid's like, hey, look, it's Futurama towels. And we're sitting around talking, and we're talking about it. And we know we're going to spend money for us, but we're like, we should probably pick up something. I was like, Mrs. Cavman didn't come. She wasn't overly interested in going. So I was like, I should bring something back for her. And my kid points out, it's like Futurama towels. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then it was like Bender and Leela. And like, which one should we get, Mom? And she just looks at me. She goes, Zoidberg. And I'm like, sold. And it's just a red towel with an outline of the Zoidberg head. And I'm like taking it up, and I'm turning around to look for someone to pay, and then I see it. Spaceballs the
towel. Here, let me maximize you. There it is.
Spaceballs the towel. So yeah, that's hung up in one of our bathrooms. From time to time, merchandising.
Here's this. I want to share this. You shared this with me.
Needless to say, Mrs. Cavman also laughed her tail off when we brought the towels home. She thought they were awesome.
Nice. So it was an effective gift. Good.
It was. And then because we were going to Rhode Island Comic-Con later that year, Mrs. Cavman decided to come along. One, to check it out, and two, she wanted to meet LeVar Burton, who was going to be there. And she came along, and that was really cool. Could you zoom in a little bit on the picture? You're showing a little more than you should.
Nope. Stop sharing that.
But we're there, and we're walking her through, and we're checking out the vendors, and then I see something. Holy shit! And it's those four, and there's four people cosplaying as Spaceballs characters, which was just up on the screen. And Mrs. Cavman wanted to get in and take pictures with them, and she had a blast. She really laughed at that, which was awesome. And I'd not seen any Spaceballs people since. So, Mac, you all right there, buddy?
Yeah, I'm just trying to. I'm just doing some security work here. So
fair enough.
Here, I want to.
Well, needless to say, getting to see those people in their Spaceballs cosplay was awesome, because it just shows that Spaceballs is still kind of universally loved.
Yeah, it's not been forgotten.
and they nailed those costumes.
Yes, they did. Which is why you said, yeah, it looks like it could be a Comic-Con.
At last, I have you in my clutches.
Speaking of merchandising.
To have my way with you, the way I want to.
These are the only ones ever made.
Leave me alone. No, you are mine.
Not so fast, Helmet.
Lone Star.
Yes, it's me. I'm here to save my girlfriend. Hi, honey.
Now you are going to die.
Oh, oh, oh. Hey, what'd you do to my friend?
The same thing I'm going to do to you, big boy. Oh, oh, and you too.
Oh, oh.
Now, Princess Vespa, at last we are alone.
This is
I
weird.
hate you. I hate you. Leave me alone. Yet, I find you strangely attractive.
Of course you do. Druish princesses are often attracted to money and power.
Oh my God.
Both.
Okay. I'm not advocating that one, everybody, okay? Let's just bring it back to him giving him the raspberry. So
needless to say, Spaceballs just with all and tons of sight gags where it's like they gave you a little Jaws feel with the Spaceballs one too. The kind of
yeah,
you know, that very shark movie like. So there was that. You also had, you know, the force training scenes.
Yeah,
and accidentally drops it on Barf's foot. And he takes it off. It's cartoon flat.
Yeah, that was the Looney Tunes you were referring to, right?
Well, that and the frog, you know, the alien doing the dancing frog.
Yes. Warner Brothers. Hello, my baby.
Oh my gosh.
So
yeah,
I'm trying to see Robo Made here.
Mega
Look at this. Mega Made. This looks good. It's actually a mirror. Now that I look at it, they put a mirror here. Look at that. That's great. Just, you know, just some low tech solutions for high tech vision.
Well, it definitely looks like they took a Nazi staff car and just put a mirror in front of the wheels. So perfect.
Yeah, that worked out well. You saw the video of a guy who dressed up as Mando, right? And tricked out his motorcycle to look like a speeder with mirrors hiding the wheels. Did you see that?
No, but that's cool.
Yeah, it worked out really well. It was really cool. Yep,
a little bit more Wizard of Oz here.
Look at this. Spaceballs, the placemat.
And there in the background, over Lone Star's shoulder, are all the people playing versions of the Nostromo crew.
Yep. There they are.
Please.
Yeah. I didn't realize that was basically the Nostromo crew. That's funny. You know, they did a good job because that was a horrific scene in Alien, right? It was iconically horrific. Bold to do that very scene in a comedy, by the way. Bold. But they pulled it off.
Yeah. No, it was excellent, especially because then you got John Hurt looking down going, oh no, not again.
Yeah.
It's very cartoonish.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing. This movie could get away with doing cartoonish shit because that's kind of what Mel does. And that's one of the things that's so great about it is it's both a love letter and it's a loving spoof of the sci-fi genre. Okay. You know, they like they made fun of Westerns. They made fun of monster movies. They made fun of history. You know, it's thrillers. They've made fun of, you know, all of these things. And what this doesn't feel like is it's making fun of sci-fi fans.
No, it's actually a very loving take of the genre as it is.
Exactly.
which I appreciate. And it was, and by the way, this movie came out at a time when sci-fi was not mainstream. This is before, and I've argued before, and I will continue to say this. You know, nerd culture is a cash cow, but the executives in charge have no idea what nerd culture really is. And they most certainly had no idea what it was back in the 80s and the early 90s. So the fact that this was able to be pulled off the way it was, a miracle. I mean, just a minor miracle.
There's, you know, you talk to people, you know, of a certain age, probably ours, and they'll say, what's your favorite Mel Brooks movie? And this one is probably at the top of their list. It was this one and Robin Hood Men in Tights were like the two, you know, really good ones. And then his last movie was Dracula Dead and Loving It, which was okay. I think I expected a little bit more from a combination of Mel Brooks and Leslie Nielsen. I didn't hate it, but it just wasn't to the same level as, you know, some of the previous movies.
That came out in like 98, right?
Yeah.
I feel like it did. Dracula Dead and Loving It. Just gotta look that up. Can we look at the trailer for that?
Sure, by all means.
Just to,
like I said, I don't hate that movie by any stretch, but it just doesn't sit up there with his most iconic, if you know what I mean.
No, I totally get that. I get that. Here, we'll do Warner Brothers. And we'll share this one. Here we go.
This is the frightening and shocking tale of Count Dracula.
Oh, now I remember that.
Vampires do exist. This one we face is unlike any other.
I shouldn't have laughed at that, but
innocent of humans.
Oh, Jonathan, let me kiss you.
But you see, I'm British.
So are these.
Oh my God.
Women are rendered powerless under his spell.
Stand up. Not you. Sit. You stand. No, sit. No, stand. Now.
All right. Okay. I got a taste of it. I'm okay with it. I'm not okay to play the rest of that trailer, though.
I'm not going to hate on it. You know, again, it was Leslie Nielsen and Mel Brooks. Too much. I think my expectations were too high for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But here's the thing, right? Spaceballs might be to our generation what Blazing Saddles might be for another one. That being said, I know we're starting to run low on steam here. So if you were to go ahead and give this movie a review, my friend, what would you give it?
Ooh, okay. That's an interesting question. Here's why. Because I could rewatch this movie as a child again and again and again. It was just, it was just that kind of movie. As an adult, I feel like I have to do an honest rewatch of that. Because I think I would give it a different score if I saw it now for the first time. All right. Loving nostalgia, being involved in everything, I would give this movie a solid 8.5. And that's with loving nostalgia involved.
I'm kind of with you there. Maybe push it to a 9. just because of my love of this movie.
Yeah.
And I'm very much a product of some of my own upbringing, so I do very much appreciate Jewish humor. Have Jewish family, and there's some of that sense of humor has come through relatives. So it really hits with me. So I appreciate it. And it's, you have this grows from the Borscht Belt and the stuff in the Catskills, these resorts where these comedians had grown in the, post World War II. And now you get this same sense of humor hitting the big screen and taking the piss out of, epics and horror and, thrillers and sci-fi westerns. I could go on and on about what I think a comedic genius Mel really is, but he's just damn funny and he's so lovable. And look at the sight gag here. It's Rocky 1 through 14.
Yeah, they were not wrong. And then if you include the Creed movies too with that's a thing.
There would be 9.
There would be 9. Yeah. Yep. So, and then all the Friday the 13th over here.
I think they might be running short on some of those.
They could be. They could be.
But then you have all the Mel Brooks movies. You can see that's Blazing Saddles. There's History of the World, Silent Movie, Young Frankenstein, To Be or Not to Be, which I think might have been the movie just before this. High Anxiety. It's and the producers, 12 Chairs. This is like literally in Young Frankenstein. This is literally every Mel Brooks movie today.
Yeah. Young Frankenstein, that came out in like 88 or something, right? Or
Young Frankenstein. No, that came out in the 70s. This movie came out in like 1987.
Oh, you know what I'm thinking of? Young Einstein.
Yeah.
Which
that was ridiculous.
I tried watching that and I really couldn't. Even as a kid, when that movie came out. That was by Yahoo Serious. Okay.
Yep. Let's see. History of the World Part 1. Anxiety. Oh, Young Frankenstein, 1974.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you win that one. So Yahoo Serious. That was I don't know. I heard everything about this movie. Everyone seemed to like Young Einstein, and I don't know. Anyway, I like to end our pods on a feeling. So, anything else? Any other sentiment you wanna bring up, DT, before I play us out?
God bless Mel Brooks, and I look forward to Spaceballs 2. And I hope that Mel is still around when this thing, premieres. He's still cranking out movies and TV.
Exactly. So, all right then. That wraps up tonight. And DT, anything else before I go ahead and read the outro?
Go ahead. It's all you.
Nice. All right. Until the next time, folks, I'm P.S. McKay. You guys keep dreaming. We'll keep working. We're those sci-fi guys that's out there.
And I'm DT Cavman. Come join us on the high ground for more Mel Brooks movie marathon.
Yes, indeed.
Goodbye, boys.
I'm trying. Those Sci-Fi Guys is an independent broadcast by Alpha Site Productions, produced by DT Caveman and PS McKay. Ocean by Music by Aiden under Creative Commons license. For more information on upcoming episodes, follow PS McKay on X at PS McKay or go to thosesci-fi-guys.com for past episode information. You can find us on Spotify, YouTube, and Rumble. Don't forget, you can also get us on a regular scheduled podcast distributors such as Apple, so feel free to take a look there.